Welcome back to Nosgoth. Well, not the bad Steam game that was going to be a sequel to this that was turned into that game called Nosgoth. It's more Undead Halloween action.
You are young yet, Raziel. You still
Narrated by
retain
Tony J.
many of your
And me.
vampiric weaknesses. Immersion in water, while not fatal, will dissolve your physical body, forcing your return to the spirit world. Be aware that in the spectral realm, water has neither heft nor lift. It stands as thin as air.
He was one of those many voice actors that was sad for me when he died, because... Oh no! But he was one of those people that had, like, the evil voice. If you needed someone to sound evil, he was definitely the man for the job. Mako, the guy who was the voice of Uncle Iroh, he was Kato in the original Green Hornet and a whole bunch of other stuff. He had a good evil voice for. He was also Aku, if you needed proof of that assumption. Christopher Lee did a lot of evil character voices, and he's dead now, and we're running out of good old-fashioned evil.
Creatures. Do you not recognize them?
So much plot setting and world explanation to have.
That's impossible.
And the total inability to skip in-game cutscenes.
Blood?
Do you suppose that time stood still for you, Raziel? Much has changed.
Once a game gets rolling, it won't be as chronic as this is right now.
I knew my opponent's weaknesses, having suffered them myself. Physical wounds are fleeting. Vampire's immortal flesh begins to close as soon as it is cleaved. Vampires need only fear those wounds that impale or inflame. Water scorches like acid, and fledglings are devastated by sunlight's touch. I would have to modify my tactics to suit my foes.
As I was trying to get at before.
Unfettered from the flesh, a
Damn it,
creature's
Tony.
soul fades swiftly into the spectral realm. Draw it in quickly, Raziel, or you will be compelled to follow.
Stop talking to me when I should be feeding. There. Come on over here, buddy. Anyway, as I was trying to say, this was one of my, or not was, is one of my favorite vampire stories, because unlike most others, life isn't so swanky and upscale, and the world's been kind of devastated, and humanity is more or less reduced to one pocket living in a castle in the mountains.
Your physical prowess surpasses what you knew in life. Even massive obstacles can be moved effortlessly.
Because you figure if there's some race that's literally feeding off of humanity, and is way stronger than humanity, and is way harder to kill than humanity, they'd probably wreck what is left of humanity. But in this world, Cain, being leader of vampires, decided to leave them their one little stronghold so as to keep the livestock alive. And weakness to more than just sunlight, and garlic is definitely a myth in this world, but water was always a old world thing of how, you know, not just plain holy water could kill the dead, but being a cleansing, life-giving thing it is.
The sanctuary of the clans reduced to ruin. Beyond these walls lay the pillars of Nosgoth, the seat of King's
Bask in
Empire.
that beautiful architecture, and this
Now appeared,
retro gameplay,
collapsing
that
into the dust of
beautiful
despair.
background scenery right
And
there.
yet, I had only just emerged.
Oh yeah.
In the instant between my
Fucking
execution and
beautiful.
resurrection, centuries had apparently passed.
Hey, there's a weapon on the wall.
This world is wrecked with cataclysms. The earth strains to shrug off the pestilence of Cain's parasitic empire. The fate of this world was preordained in an instant by a solitary man. Unwilling to martyr himself to restore Nosgoth's balance, Cain
So
condemned
before it
the
even
world
happened to
the
World of
decay
Warcraft,
state.
Nosgoth was stricken with cataclysm.
The unraveling began. Now it is nearly played out. Nosgoth teeters on the brink of collapse. Its fragile balance cannot hold.
Oh yeah, and in the bit of cutscene I'd skipped in the beginning. Did I go over that? Yeah, I went over your backstory, but the world is the way it is because apparently when Cain was a man, he was supposed to take his seat in more or less the Ocarina of Time Guild of Sages and be the Sage of Balance and tend to the balance pillar. But he didn't, so with nobody to do the thing that it needs a person to do, I don't remember quite the specifics of that. It crumbled and sent the world into disarray since it lacked balance. And we end up where we are today with weird evolved vampires and almost no shred of humanity, etc., etc. Oh, and it's buried deep into our liked videos, but if you look at Legacy of Kain Black Sun, it would have been a game that was very, very similar to Shadow of Mordor. And actually, I think would have been much more brutal and fun to me with the whole astral plane shifting, being a little more involved. And the power of your vampirism is much more visceral in that one than other instances of the game. But apparently Square Enix was afraid that another game on the market like Shadow of Mordor wouldn't sell, so they scrapped it like every other Legacy of Kain sequel they've been trying to cook up for the past, I don't know, decade and a half, at least. I concluded the Mobius problems, but they left the world open to still be played with. Things weren't truly resolved. And in Black Sun, somehow, you would have been a guy that got attacked by something that was infested with Raziel's soul. I assume it was his. It could have been some other vampire. But somehow, instead of being Soul Reaver, it turns the dude into a vampire and he ends up slaughtering everyone around him, being stuck to watch while this thing is in control of his body. It's dark and messed up, but I loved it. Well, these things technically count as a checkpoint, so since I got to a next point, we'll check out here and be right back in a minute.